As he walked through the crowded streets of New Eden, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. It wasn't just the hovercars zipping past or the holographic advertisements floating above the pavement. It was as if the very fabric of reality was slightly askew. He stopped at a street vendor and bought a cup of synthetic coffee, taking a sip as he continued on his way. The bitter flavor filled his mouth, but his mind was elsewhere. He had been plagued by strange visions for weeks, glimpses of a world that wasn't quite his own. Cities melting like wax, stars rearranging themselves in the sky, and an endless expanse of purple sand that seemed to stretch on forever. A hand on his shoulder spun him around. It was Rachel, her bright pink hair a stark contrast to the drab, functional attire of the city dwellers around them. "Hey, have you seen the news?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "What news?" Jack replied, his mind still half lost in the strange visions. "The Multiversity Council has announced a breakthrough in interdimensional travel," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "They claim to have opened a portal to a parallel universe." Jack's heart skipped a beat.
Paralleluniverses?
That was the stuff of science fiction. And yet, the visions he'd been having, could it be that his subconscious was trying to tell him something? "Where's the portal?" Jack asked, a sense of wonder and trepidation warring for dominance. Rachel's grin was mischievous. "Want to go find out?" Together, they pushed through the crowds, the bright lights and sounds of New Eden fading into the background as they embarked on a journey that would take them to the very edges of reality. The portal, it turned out, was located in a nondescript warehouse on the outskirts of the city. A hastily erected sign creaked in the gentle breeze, bearing the logo of the Multiversity Council, a stylized omega symbol surrounded by the words, "Gateway to the Infinite." As Jack and Rachel approached, a group of suited officials ushered them through a series of checkpoints, each one scrutinizing their ID implants and scrutinizing their faces with an air of utmost seriousness. Finally, they stood before a shimmering membrane that pulsed with an otherworldly energy. "Welcome, travelers," a disembodied voice intoned. "Please be advised that interdimensional travel carries risks. Proceed at your own peril." With a deep breath, Jack stepped forward, Rachel by his side. The membrane enveloped them and the world went white. When the light faded, they found themselves standing in a desolate wasteland. The sky above was a sickly shade of chartreuse, and the air was thick with an acrid odor that made their eyes water. Strange, twisted trees loomed in the distance, their trunks like gnarled fingers reaching for the sky. "Welcome to Dimension 7421 Gamma," a recorded voice announced, the words echoing across the barren landscape. As they ventured deeper into this alien realm, Jack's visions began to make sense. The purple sand, the melting cities. It was as if his subconscious had been trying to prepare him for this moment. Rachel tugged at his sleeve, her eyes fixed on something in the distance. "Jack, look, on the horizon." A city unlike any they had ever seen was rising from the dust. Spires and minarets twisted upward like living vines, pulsing with a soft, ethereal glow. The air seemed to vibrate with an energy that was both familiar and yet utterly alien. Together, they walked toward the shimmering metropolis, the silence between them thick with wonder and trepidation. For in this strange new world, they were not just visitors, they were pioneers, exploring the uncharted territories of the multiverse. As they approached the city, the architecture seemed to shift and flow like a liquid, as if the very fabric of reality was malleable and responsive to their presence. Jack's mind reeled as he tried to comprehend the physics behind this impossible metropolis. Rachel grabbed his arm, her grip tight with excitement. "Look, Jack, the buildings they're reflecting us." Indeed, the structures around them seemed to be mirroring their movements, as if the city itself was a vast, sentient being, watching and responding to their every action. The air was filled with a soft, musical hum, like the reverberation of 1,000 glass harmonicas. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shimmering mist that surrounded the city. It was a woman, her features shifting and flowing like the architecture around them. Her eyes locked onto Jack, and he felt a jolt of recognition, as if he had seen her before, though he knew he had not. "Welcome, travelers," she said, her voice like a gentle breeze. "I am the avatar of this realm. You have crossed the threshold, and thus you are bound to the fabric of this dimension." Rachel's grip on Jack's arm tightened. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The avatar's form shifted, her features flowing like molten wax. "You have entered this realm, and thus you are now a part of its tapestry. You will influence its course, and it will shape yours. The visions you had, Jack, were a call to this place, a resonance that drew you across the multiverse." As she spoke, the city around them began to change, the buildings shifting and flowing like a kaleidoscope. Jack felt his mind expanding, as if the very fabric of reality was unfolding before him like a map. "What do you want from us?" Jack asked, his voice steady despite the wonder that threatened to overwhelm him. The avatar's form coalesced, her features settling into a gentle smile. "We want to learn from you, and to share our knowledge with you. Together, we can explore the secrets of the multiverse and uncover the mysteries that lie beyond the boundaries of reality." As she spoke, the city seemed to come alive, its pulse synchronizing with Jack's own heartbeat. He felt the infinite possibilities of the multiverse unfolding before him, and he knew that he was ready to take the leap, to embark on a journey that would change the course of his life forever. The avatar's words hung in the air like a challenge, and Jack felt an inexplicable sense of purpose stirring within him. He glanced at Rachel and saw her eyes sparkling with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "What do you mean by sharing knowledge?" Jack asked, his mind racing with the implications. The avatar's form shifted, her features flowing like a liquid. "We possess knowledge from across the multiverse, gleaned from the infinite possibilities that lie beyond the veil of your reality. We can share this knowledge with you, but in return, we ask that you share your own experiences, your own perspectives, with us." Rachel's grip on his arm tightened. "What's the catch?" she asked, her voice laced with skepticism. The avatar's smile grew wider. "The catch, dear traveler, is that the knowledge we share comes at a cost. You will see the multiverse in all its glory, but you will also be forever changed by the experience. Your perceptions will shift, your understanding of reality will be rewritten, and your very sense of self will be transformed." Jack felt a shiver run down his spine as he considered the avatar's words. It was a risk, but one that he was willing to take. He glanced at Rachel and saw his own resolve mirrored in her eyes. "We're in," Jack said, his voice firm. The avatar's form dissolved, and the city around them erupted into a kaleidoscope of colors and sounds. The air was filled with the hum of energy, and Jack felt himself being pulled apart and reassembled, his molecules rearranging themselves to accommodate the influx of knowledge. Rachel's hand in his was the only constant as the multiverse unfolded before them, a tapestry of infinite possibilities, each thread weaving together to form a reality that was both familiar and yet utterly alien. And when the storm of knowledge finally subsided, Jack and Rachel stood transformed, their eyes aglow with an otherworldly intensity, their minds expanded to encompass the infinite possibilities of the multiverse. As they emerged from the vortex of knowledge, Jack and Rachel found themselves back in the desolate wasteland, the twisted trees looming like sentinels in the distance. But everything seemed different now. The air was alive with an electric tension, and the colors of the landscape seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. "I feel alive," Rachel breathed, her eyes shining with an inner light. "Me too," Jack replied, his voice filled with a sense of wonder. "It's as if we've been plugged into the universe itself." The avatar's form coalesced before them, her features shifting and flowing like a liquid. "You have accessed the multiversal mainframe," she said, her voice like a gentle breeze. "You have been upgraded. Your minds expanded to comprehend the infinite possibilities of the multiverse." As the avatar spoke, the landscape around them began to shift and ripple, like the surface of a pond disturbed by a thrown stone. The twisted trees seemed to be moving, their branches weaving together like fingers. "What's happening?" Rachel asked, her voice filled with a mix of awe and trepidation. The fabric of reality is adapting to your new perspective, the avatar replied. You have been given the keys to the multiverse, and now you must learn to wield them. The landscape continued to shift and flow, the very fabric of reality seeming to bend and warp around them. Jack felt his mind reeling, struggling to comprehend the sheer scope of the power that had been unleashed within him. What are the rules? Jack asked, his voice steady despite the sense of wonder that threatened to overwhelm him. The avatar's form coalesced, her features settling into a gentle smile. There are no rules, only possibilities. You have been given the power to shape reality itself. How you choose to wield it is up to you. As the avatar's words faded, the landscape around them stabilized, the twisted trees standing tall and still once more. Jack and Rachel stood at the threshold of a new era. Their minds expanded to comprehend the infinite possibilities of the multiverse. The universe was theirs to shape, and they knew that nothing would ever be the same again.